What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. Oh, so disappointing last night. So damn disappointing. I can't believe it. They just didn't feel like playing the sport of baseball. That's it. That's all. That's what it was. They did not feel like playing. They didn't show up right from the jump, first off the lineup. Pissed me off. How are you going to sit JT Realmuto and let's say we're in the middle of a playoff run? Hey, we're in the middle of a playoff push, I should say. But let's not play our top guys after losing 2 straight games. It's a joke. Then you have Odubel in, Andrew McCutchen's out. I mean, you played a bad lineup in a game that you necessarily, or that you needed. You needed to win. You had to set the tone. And you went in another direction. It's a joke. Pisses me off. So right from the jump, I thought that it was disastrous. And then Odubel and Andrew Knapp are the ones that have some faulty plays. Yeah, Odubel Herrera's poor defense was a joke, but Andrew Knapp should have been able to catch that ball and apply the tag. Knapp later on had a ball that got by him because he couldn't block it, which was embarrassing in that moment. Everything's embarrassing with this team. I wrote a bunch of notes down. I never got an opportunity to record a post-game pod on it for last night. I'm going to basically apply that to tonight's episode and do like almost a double discussion, if you will. But yeah, I mean, they just were not prepared to play. Oh yeah, Andrew Knapp also had that very poor bunt that basically ruined everything. What the hell was he thinking? All right, everyone, before we continue, because I'm going to continue to scream, cheers. Enjoy your coffee, everybody. I have a Starbucks hazelnut black. That's what we're rocking today. Oh, man, is that delicious. Let me know if there's seriously anything in your life that is better than the first sip of coffee in the morning. I could think of one other that is solid as hell, but it's not as frequent as the coffee tasty. The coffee taste is the same every morning, and you have it every morning, yet it's the same. The fact that that feeling stays that way, like from age 18 to 85, whenever I pass away, whenever I stop screaming into this damn microphone because I'm no longer here on this earth, it's going to taste the same every single time that first sip. I don't know if my other option would be the same way if I had it every day. But it's the first sushi roll. When you get, I'll go get 4 sushi rolls, right? And that'll be my dinner. That first bite of sushi, that first piece of sushi, you dunk it in the soy sauce. You get a little wasabi in the soy sauce too. And then you dap it around with your chopsticks so the soy sauce doesn't dip all over your white shirt, which I've had happen a billion times. And you lean on over and you eat that first piece of sushi. Oh, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. That's basically what I have for you to start Friday's show. Anyway, all right, we'll get back to business here because everyone just wants to talk sports. Oh, how dare I try to talk about sushi and coffee? Everyone wants to talk about sports in the damn chat. All right, let's get into it. I watched Matt Moore's ERA go up a whole point. I mean, Matt Moore stinks. He won 4 straight games. I tried telling everybody. The Phillies scored in those games. 13 runs, 11 runs. These runs are scored. He gave up 4. He gives up 5. He gives up 3. Whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. You scored double that. So, of course, he's going to get the victory. Of course, he's going to get the W and walk away with a win when you score that many runs and your offense is explosive. The offense had trouble again. 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Left about 8 men on base. So, I mean, it's a problem that this team is not getting those timely hits. Ronald Torreyes has been a spark plug offensively. That's about it. Didi tried to get you going with the triple, and then Odubel ended up getting a knock. Gene Segura got a knock. You had that ugly-ass bunt, though, by Andrew Knapp before that. Knapp had an awful game. Absolutely awful, awful, awful game. Just terrible. Terrible. Defense and a lack of urgency. Yeah, you know what? And it's crazy because you know what position you're in. How do you lack urgency in a game like last night? How are you not playing with your nutsack on fire? I mean, let's be realistic. You know where you are. You understand the circumstances. You just dropped 2 in New York. You have 8 in a row here at home against your division opponents, and you shit the bed? You piss the bed? You have no balls? You don't want to play hard? I mean, how do you show up that flat? How is it that disgraceful and that ugly and that hideous right from the jump? Right from inning 1? How? In what world? In what universe? How? It pisses me off. It's a joke. This team does it to us every year. That series win against the Marlins, it gave you just enough. It gave you just enough to get you going again. They do it every year. Every year. They make you go through this phase where you know it's not real. You know it's fake. You know there's no way because you've seen them play all season long one way majority of the time, yet they'll win a handful of games in a row. They'll take a nice stretch down of 10 wins in 12 games or something of that nature. And I'm just throwing the hypothetical in there that they win 12 of 15. They'll do something like that just to get you going. And then they'll fucking lose. Like 4 in a row. 5 in a row. It pisses Temple off. Yeah, it pisses me off too. 2013 Temple. Now, what was Dave Dombrowski's quote about buying? Dave Dombrowski said something about, if they lose 10 in a row, then maybe it's a different story. Why do I feel that's going to happen? Why do I sense that that's going to be a reality? No, I'm heading to the ballpark tonight. I'm excited about it. Originally, I believe it was supposed to be Vinny V at the time I bought the tickets, and it looks like it's Zach Wheeler now, unless the original lineup at the time was wrong, but it looks like it's Zach Wheeler, so I'm at least excited that I'm going to get to see him play. But this will be interesting if they lose 10 in a row. I want to find it exactly. Okay, this is Dave Dombrowski talking about not being sellers. We're in this, and we're going to make our club better. I think we're better than a 500 team. We played much better here recently. We are contending. We have a chance. We are legitimate. Okay, no. Oh, here it is. We're not selling. Should we throw the quote up on the screen for a second? Oh no, it might be a little too. It might be too many characters. We're not selling. We're not looking to move players off of our team. Anything can happen in 10 days or 2 weeks. If you lose 10 in a row, then maybe things are different. Or if you win 10 games in a row, it's a little bit different. But we're in a position where we're in this. Now, I want to, if you lose 10 games in a row, then maybe things are different. I want to tweet that tweet out. Donster thinks that Wheeler's going 8. He's going to strike out 10, walk 3, and give up 1 run. Phillies win 4-1 tonight. I was almost thinking it's going to be Wheeler has that dominant performance, but allows 2 runs, and the Phillies lose 2-1, and they leave 39 guys on base. They go 1 for 38 with runners in scoring position. That doesn't even make sense. You get my point, though. It's going to be a disaster, isn't it? I hope not. I hope they can get back on track. I need them here. I do. Arm Zebra says, you got lucky, Brodes. I went last night. Yeah, it's especially early. When Dansby Swanson hits the home run, or the grand slam, I should say, then they explode and it's 5-0 so early on. You basically know, right? I mean, it was a deflating moment. You kind of felt the gut punch right there then and early that this was going to be one of those games where you really just you can't tune in. It's brutal, it's boring. And I'll tell you what, though, baseball last night was not boring in general. I'm talking about the vibe surrounding the entire league. These late night games. Now, the Yankees-Red Sox, there was a rain delay, but that ending was wild. No pun intended. With all these wild pitches, 4 wild pitches, here goes. The Red Sox running around the bases at ease. The Yankees blow it. They had a lead in the 9th. It was crazy at the end. And then you go to the Dodgers-Giants game. I know most people aren't staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the baseball game. Look, I had all these notes ready to record a post-game podcast last night, right? I wrote all my notes. And then I got sucked into all these games. I couldn't get up off my couch. And before I knew it, I was like, you know what? I'll talk about it on Coffee with Brodes. I'll talk about it when I record tonight's podcast. there's a lot to get into, so I'll discuss it. But, dude, I got so sucked in, whether it was the play at second base that they overturned when they called him out originally to end the game, and the Giants. I mean, it was crazy. Crazy. Shane Gossesbear, RIP to Shane in Philadelphia, we should say. He's still here on planet Earth. What are my thoughts? You cleared up cap space. It's hard to tell what this means until we see the next piece. All we know is, and they were trying to get rid of Ghost last year. They put him through waivers for a reason. So with Ghost, you got to free up cap, and it frees up 4.5 on the books next year. This is step one of a couple-step process for Chuck Fletcher. It's a move that needed to be made. It's a financial decision. It's a business decision that needs to be made. I like Ghost as a sixth defenseman and a power play unit guy. You also brought in Ryan Ellis, though. That's a number one guy and can also play the top of your power play. So you did add to that. So it's not like they don't have an option to run your power play. They tried to do Provorov at times last year. Didn't really fully love that experience. Sometimes it was a bit wonky, but yeah, look, it's step one of a couple-step process here to rebuilding this thing with the cap space situation that they were looking at. So it's a good start. I can see the process. I can see the blueprint. Show me the game plan. Let me see your identity. I'm seeing the identity, so that's all I can ask for. Carmen said, how did the umps get that call? The called swing. There was the called swing, and then I also thought the play at second base where they called him out originally. Was there enough to overturn that he was safe? Or am I thinking about? Yeah, that was the. I thought I was confusing that for the Yankees-Red Sox game for a second. It's crazy. Question is, will Nolan do well in his start? What are we? Nolan who? Nolan Patrick? Are we still talking about hockey? Morning, Brodes. I wish we acquired Eichel. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Eichel train has somewhat left. From what I'm hearing, there's smoke, but there's a lot of moving parts. And when it gets to that level, you know what I mean? A lot of moving parts involved. There's a lot of moving parts. So, I think the smoke has somewhat died out a bit. You're now seeing plenty of reports out there that the Flyers are no really going down that path, and they're not really looking into that type of move. So it is what it is. I mean, there's plenty of ways to kind of tweak this thing without going down the path of Jack Eichel. Even though I would love Jack Eichel, I think he's a tremendous player, and I think there's a lot left in the tank, and I'm just sure he's unhappy with the situation medical staff-wise, and it would be different here in Philadelphia with the way that he would have a team surrounding him and whatnot. But yeah, it doesn't seem like they're going down that path anymore. Brodes, what are your thoughts on Nelson Cruz going to the Rays? I mean, you got a pure hitter. You got a guy who can swing the fucking bat. You got a guy that can absolutely do some damage. You add him in the mix with Joey Wendell and G-Man Choi, and you got yourself an already lethal squad that adds a nice bat. I fucking love the Tampa Bay Rays. I just love everything about the Rays. I love the Rays. They are 58-39. They're one game back from the Red Sox, who are 59-38. The Tampa Bay Rays, they trade Blake Snell. What is this franchise doing? They don't spend money. How can you let Blake Snell go? You just got to the World Series. Hold my fucking beer, Eric Neander says. Hold my fucking beer. My man is 58-39 right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 30-18 at home, 28-21 on the road. Not that they have home field advantage at all, because they definitely don't have home field advantage. My point is, the Rays are nasty, and they're fantastic for the sport of baseball. Blake Snell is in the Aaron Nola category. He's a solid pitcher that on any given day can absolutely be a fantastic player, right? I mean, he can shut you down. There's plenty of moments where he can do that. He's also having ups and downs, I guess I could say. Like, there's players that win a Cy Young, and that's who they are every year. They are consistent. Then there's guys who have great seasons in the middle of good seasons. And Blake Snell, to me, is a guy, if you look, he's a career 3.45 ERA. That's his career ERA, 3.45 in 6 seasons. That's enough of a sample size. He has 1 year where he has a 1.89 ERA. Everything else, 404, 429, 324, 354. He is literally Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola flirts around 352, 389, 372, and then has the beautiful year where he was sensational. It's just in between. And that doesn't mean that Blake Snell stinks. No, he's a good pitcher in this league. Blake Snell's a good pitcher who has electric stuff on any given night when he has the dominant performance. Good luck trying to hit him. At the same time, though, he's not a 189 guy, you know? And that's the type of move that the Tampa Bay Rays see and do. Oh, what's that? We know he's not a 189 guy. What's that? We know he's more of a he's a 3, 4, 5 guy. All right. We can find that in another way. We can use our bullpen heavy, you know? Just crazy. Elijah's going back to the replay at second base. I love how that's a hot topic in the chat today. At the Dodgers game last night, I think he was out. I don't think it was conclusive enough. Right. I think it was bang, bang. You got to stay. Basically, Elijah, and I agree with your assessment here, whatever was called on the field had to be stood. Whatever was on the field, like it stands. It needs to stand. So if they caught him safe, fine. I can understand calling him safe. Initially, at the time it happened, bang, bang play, I thought he was safe. So I probably would have called a safe play, and then I wouldn't have enough to overturn it. That's how I would have went with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's almost – see, this goes right back to Nola, right? Because right now, Nola's having one of his worst seasons ever. Blake Snell's having one of his worst seasons ever. I don't think he's a 5 ERA guy, and he's 4.93 right now. I don't think that's who he is. I don't think he's 1.89. He's somewhere in between. He's probably a 3.45 guy. That's what he is. So you're right. He's having a inconsistent year, but I don't think for the long term we're going to be watching Blake Snell walk around San Diego with basically an ERA that's sniffing 5. That's a little high and a little aggressive, in my opinion. I don't understand how San Fran, this is from Ashley, is so successful in the NL West. They're just winning a lot of baseball games, man. They got their starting pitching that is being very efficient for them. Who would ever thought they'd have the ace that they have on this staff right now? And look, the San Francisco Giants, they have a good franchise. They run a good organization. They win championships. They go through nice runs. I mean, this is what they do. You look through the last, recent stretch of history, and they put together teams that consistently win. They put out a winning product. They know how to utilize things. So that's how. You're right, though. When you look at the Padres and when you look at the Dodgers, how are they competing at this level and winning at this rate? Yeah, I got you. It's crazy. But I actually enjoy them. I was texting my buddy last night about teams that we love because he mentioned something about, we were texting about the Phillies originally. What was happening was he was talking about the, let me find the text exactly. This was last night. Can't be too far down the list. And somehow it is. Here it is. Okay. We were talking about the Phils, and he's like, dude, the Phillies stink. And then he said, then there's teams like the Padres. And then I sent him a picture because, of course, I'm like, dude, I watch this team every night, bro. I watch this team every night. I need this team. I need this level of excitement in my life because the Phillies just don't give it to me. I go from 7 to 10 Phils or 7 to 11, whatever it ends, because these games are like 4 hours. And then I have multiple TVs in my man cave, so I'll flip to, or if I'm in my living room, even though I have all these TVs on my wall, I'll end up going iPad on my lap, and I'll throw on my MLB TV app the Padres game. I'm like, dude, you mean my favorite team? I watch them every night. I'm literally obsessed. And he responds with, I'm all in on the White Sox. They're fun too. And then I had the audacity to literally make this statement. I even enjoy the Giants. I do. I thoroughly enjoy watching the Giants. Crazy. Carbon says, switching gears a little bit. Yesterday, I guessed it was the GOAT Zoom off. Glad I was right, and I agree with Mark's comments. You're going places, kid. Thank you very much, Carbon. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited for Schmoozed. If you didn't see, I started something new, and you can read up on the blog post on brodesmedia.com/blogs. Let me make sure it's blogs and not blog. It is blog. One blog. brodesmedia.com/blog. and it will have the introduction to Schmoozed. And what Schmoozed is it's going to be a weekly show that I do here on Brodes Media where I will have a guest on. So it'll be your favorite broadcaster. It will be a athlete who is currently in the league or an athlete that is retired that will bring his perspective on things. Or maybe it's a beat reporter who covers the Eagles, covers the Sixers, covers the Flyers. We're just going to go and kind of just interview people. It'll basically be an interview a week. So I'm really looking forward to it. We got a bunch of people that we're looking at bringing in for the show, and I'm excited for it. So Schmoozed. And that was episode 1 with Zoo. Zoo's great people, man. It's going to be a weird adjustment for sure. But thank you, Carmen, for all the kind words. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. It was a lot of fun to make. It's always fun just kicking it. Having coffee with Zoo, I mean, come on. There's nothing better. We recorded in the morning. We both had our coffees. It was a great feel. What's up, magical guy? What's going on, man? What's happening? Thank you so much for hopping in. That's Matt Moore, not Blake Snell. What are we referencing? 5 ERA? Is that referencing 5 ERA? Maybe it is. Nolan comes in. That was an amazing podcast yesterday, bro. It's great to hear you talking to the GOAT Jumoff. Thank you, man. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm really looking forward to some of the other guests that we're working on getting on too. I think you guys are really going to enjoy all of these people that we are in work with to interview. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I appreciate that. There was a Flyers question that was asked. Brodes, do the Flyers trade their first-round pick tonight because the NHL entry draft? Yeah, so, by the way, Durso and I recorded Open Ice Hits this morning. There will be, I know the draft's on tonight, but, there's probably going to be moves made throughout the league for sure because of the uncertainty of some of these players and the weird draft and how it's a weaker draft. So there's probably going to be a bunch of moves. But we broke down the Seattle Kraken's expansion draft. That episode will be up after Coffee with Brodes. I still have to export it and all, but that will be in place. There's been a lot of talk about Chuck Fletcher going in the direction of trading the first-round pick this year. I think there's something to it. When there's smoke, there's fire, and there's been a lot of talk. Now, he did also mention, though, that he'd be willing to hold on to it also. It's not like he's going to trade it, just to get it rid of, just to get it out of his hands. There's going to be something in the works. So I'd imagine maybe there's a trade. Yeah, I mean, when you talk about it as heavily as Chuck Fletcher has talked about it, there's got to be something to it, right? I mean, I can't rule it out. So yes, I'd have to think that there's something to this. I love your show, and I'm a Braves fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There's a lot of Braves fans that are in my comment section afterwards that appreciate the reactions every night, and I love that. Like you think the rivalry, so you see the Braves a lot, so the Braves reactions are going to probably pop up on your feed when you're searching for Braves content and whatnot. But it's pretty cool. I see the same thing with Penguins fans, with the Flyers-Penguins rivalry. The Cowboys rivalry is a little bit different because Eagles-Cowboys, it's a lot more hate. It's a lot more fuck you. It's a lot more you're a piece of shit. It's a lot more this and that with the comment section. Not so much with the Braves and all, but I appreciate that. I do. It goes with the Celtics as well. The amount of Celtics fans when the Sixers played the Celtics in the playoffs, that end up sticking around and watching more content. It's an awesome feeling. So I appreciate that. Who do I think is going to win the NL East? The Mets are going to Mets have always been a statement that's flown out of my mouth because at the end of the day, they are the New York Mets. I just don't think it's the Phillies, and I just don't think it's the Braves this year. I don't see the Braves somehow overcoming all of the mess that they went through this year. It just doesn't seem like they have the it factor this season. It doesn't seem like they kind of have what they need to have this year, whether it's injury related, whether it's just guys not producing at the level that they should produce. They have more left in the tank, and all their players are playing at a 70% clip when they have 30% more to execute out there on the field. Maybe it's some of that for some of these top players. It took a little bit of time for Freddie Freeman to kind of establish himself. And we've seen Freddie Freeman play at an elite level in this league before, and the injuries to the starting rotation and Acuna Jr. It's more of a by default. It's more of a by default, not so much because any of these teams are good. I think the answer is the Mets, which is just crazy and sickening to say. See, here's Ashley in the chat that says, I've been listening since Raptors Sixers playoff series. So are you a Raptors fan from Toronto? Is that what you're implying here? Because, yeah, it's another team that I think has kind of found a little community in the comments as well, is the Raptors fans from that Toronto Kawhi series. It's funny, not to get too much into that, but there's been a there's been a discussion in this city basically about how, this was the Sixers' finals championship that they lost. And that was a similar statement that was made after the Toronto Raptors series because of the injuries to the Golden State Warriors in the finals. And it's, we would have beat the Bucks. We would have won the championship. We would have beat the Suns. How can you just say that? I remember after the Raptors series, it was, oh my God, the Sixers just lost their chance of winning the title because they easily would have beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. They easily would have beat the Golden State Warriors when they were depleted. Well, you don't know if Kevin Durant goes down the same way. You don't know if those injuries absolutely happen because Kevin Durant, the score would have been different. The possessions would have been different. The shooter in that moment could have been different. There's so many things that could have been different with the carry down effect, with the knockdown effect, that you don't know if it all would have played out the same way. I can't sit here today and said the Sixers would have won the championship. I don't know if they would have beat Giannis in a 7-game series. I don't know if the Sixers would have beat the Phoenix Suns in a 7-game series. I don't know. And I can't just say that it would have. Oh, they would have. What do you mean they would have? You don't know. You said they would have beat the Hawks. I said they would have beat the Hawks. They didn't beat the Hawks. They can't beat the Hawks. How are you automatically going to write off the Bucks? How are you automatically going to cross off the Suns? They couldn't beat the Hawks. They couldn't beat the stinking Hawks. Yet here we are claiming that they would have beat all these other teams that were just competing in the NBA Finals. Yeah, okay. Come on. Come on. My ass. My ass. You got a guy who doesn't shoot a basketball. Unbelievable. Yeah, no, it's definitely a reality that Freddie Freeman has turned it around. But early in the season, I'm just saying it took him a while to really find himself. Already up to 290 after hitting 220. Yeah, he was definitely weak in the beginning of the year. But Freddie Freeman's one of those guys, man. Like, how do you hate Freddie Freeman? Even on a rival team, you can't hate Freddie Freeman. You can't hate the way he plays the game. You can't hate the way that he is as a human. I mean, everyone roots for Freddie Freeman. Come on. Everyone roots for him. What are my feelings on Mark clearly spreading the blame for this year's collapse around the organization and less directly to Ben? Look, I love you to death. Love him to death. Love him to death. I'm not surprised with the approach that he's going with there. He's a Sixers guy through and through. He's very close with the organization. He's very close with the team. He's very close with the players. There's truth to what he said. Joel Embiid, like he mentioned Joel Embiid's turnovers. I also think to a degree, though, that, and, I wasn't going to go into a heavy debate with him on Ben Simmons. I wasn't there to do that. I wanted to talk about his career and get his thoughts on the Sixers. I wasn't there to debate Mark Zumoff about his thoughts on the team. I just wanted to get his thoughts on the team. There's a time for that. But my point, what some of the thoughts he had was, okay, you're right. Joel did have 7 or 8 turnovers, but that stems from not having a point guard. You don't have a point guard that can operate in the half-court set. So he's right. There's problems with Doc Rivers. There's problems with Joel. There's problems with Tobias. There's problems with Ben. There's problems with a lot of people. I think what he wanted to try and do is bring that to light because there's been a lot of noise on Ben, and he's not wrong with what he's saying. But as you dive deeper into the issues that stem with this team, it all dives directly back to Ben Simmons. And I'm not surprised with the approach that he took with it. That's all, But he's not wrong. I clearly understand what Zoo is saying. He's not wrong. There is blame to spread around the team. But, once you start diving deep into some of the issues, it all kind of goes right back to 25. It does. Every issue with this team goes back to 25. Trae Young is prime time. Yes, he is. He's prime time watch. It's interesting to see a team like the Hawks go through that type of series, right? Then what do they do to come back to that? It's high expectations. Miami Heat, they go to the championship in the bubble. High expectations the next year fall on their face. Now you have the John Collins news. You're going to have a different team surrounding the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know. I thought it was like perfect storm, perfect ride, perfect opportunity for them. and they definitely exceeded expectations. But it's hard now after that. It's easy when no one believes in you and you're kind of playing that underdog card. It's hard now when there's expectations in the mix. You also mentioned the mental health. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And he makes a good point. We talk about Joel Embiid with the injury and him playing through the injury as a tough guy. Like, hey, that's something that you do, and that's not easy, and that's something that limits you, and you play through it and all. And it's difficult to play through that. With Ben Simmons, there's a mental health side, health injury. That's all part of it, and he wants to stress that there is an angle to this where health, you talk about health with injuries. Well, health is also the mental side. And you watched him at the line. You watched him with the way that he passed up the dunk. There's something going on upstairs that maybe should be looked at a little differently in the sports realm instead of just the physical injury side of things. And that's the way that Zoo kind of wants people to approach it with and wants people to think about when assessing sports, which once again, I absolutely understand where Zoo is coming from, for sure. Ben Simmons should take notes from Giannis. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that for quite some time, right? The way Giannis is willing. But you know what? There's you have it or you don't have it conversation to have, though. You're right. He should take notes from Giannis. But you either have it or you don't have it. And I just think with Ben, he doesn't have enough. When you start going into the basketball sense here, when you start looking at the basketball way of playing and what he does on the floor, he doesn't have the its. He doesn't have that drive. He doesn't have that motor. He needs to be in headlines for 3 months. And then after 3 months, he shuts everybody up by saying, see, I told you I can do this. See, you guys are all wrong. Well, we're not wrong because you didn't do it for 3 months. You did it for 1 game or 1 week. And then you go back to who you were for 3 months. He needs that motivation. And there's nothing wrong with needing motivation. Michael Jordan made up stories to motivate himself. He made up all kinds of crazy, wild events in his head just to get himself so boiled up internally. That's motivation. But it's self-made motivation. Ben Simmons needs drama and people doubting him for 3 months for him to get that. Giannis doesn't need, he uses that. I don't want to take this the wrong way because I'm sure Giannis uses headlines as motivation. He uses people saying things wrong about him as motivation. But it's clear and obvious how someone like Kobe or Giannis or LeBron uses that hate towards them compared to Ben Simmons. You can't let it bottle up for 3 months, not do anything about it, and then do something about it for 1 week of time and then go back. It needs to be something that is consistently built on, and that isn't reality. What are my thoughts on Mercedes? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday with the wildness of what he put on his Instagram, and then he showed up to play. I'm happy that he showed up. I mean, clearly an emotional time for him and what he's going through, but I don't want to see anyone quit the game they love. Like that, we talked about mental health with Ben. The first thing I thought of was mental health to have to walk away from the game after what went down and what happened to him this season. So, when you see that happen, and you watch him say basically, I'm done with the game of baseball, and then he shows up the next day. I'm happy that he kind of put his emotions aside and realized, okay, that was a knee-jerk reaction. I still love this game, and there's some positives to it, I think. The way I look at it is it's very positive for him to get back out there on the diamond so quickly after making such a big statement. Apex says, what's up, Brodes? What's going on, Apex? Going to the Phillies game tonight. Nice, man. So am I. I will be in attendance. I will be at Citizens Bank Park. I hope it's not too humid. I hope it's not too sticky. I hope it's not too aggressively hot. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I am. It's going to be fun to go to the ballpark. I have not been in quite some time. I have not been down there in quite some time. I've only been to Sixers action since the return of sports, since the return of fans. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful night. I hope. It's going to be a beautiful night, meaning it's going to be fun to experience the game. Is it going to be a beautiful night in terms of weather? I hope it's not too sticky. I don't know off the top of my head where the tickets are exactly. I have to relook at everything. I have a general idea of where they are. I don't remember the exact section off the top of my head though. Dylan hates that it's possible Trout, Ohtani, and Vlad Jr. might not be in the playoffs this year. Takes away great talent from the best moments. Well, you got to make the playoffs. What do you hate about it? Are you saying you hate the format of how to get into the playoffs? I mean, every league, everywhere. You can say that about NFL teams. How many teams don't make the playoffs in the NFL that have insanely special talent, right? I mean, there's teams all around every single sport that are so damn deep, that have so many playmakers, that have so many household names that don't make the playoffs. Do you hate that too? I mean, I guess you do. I mean, the easy answer is, yeah, you hate that as well. But I guess I'm just confused on that because that's the nature of sports. There's so many great players that don't make the playoffs every single year. Well, be better. Right now, if you look at the American League, man, that is a busy, hectic division right now. The AL East, I should say. Did I say the American League? I meant the AL East. The Blue Jays are 48 and 44. Think about this. The Blue Jays are 4 games over 500, and they're in 4th place. The Phillies are in 2nd place, 1 game under 500. It's just absolutely insane. Jays are at plus 80-something and rank in top 8 in MLB, so I understand why playoff format stinks. It doesn't, though. It doesn't stink. What are you supposed to do? Not have it be a division winner? If you take away the importance of the division winner and it's just 1 through 8, then these games just don't matter as much. The 162 already is aggressive. Now you're even deflating the importance of these games even more because when you play the Yankees, when you play the Red Sox, when you play all these teams, you're now discussing how that impacts your stand. Like you're trying to move up in the standings to get up the division. The importance, like for the Phillies, the importance of seeing the Mets is extreme. Right now, it wouldn't matter. Right now, the Phillies would not matter. They would be absolutely irrelevant and completely out of it. Instead, they have a chance and they're still holding on for dear life because they play in a division where they're 4 games back, and that's it because their division stinks. I just wish the players had more impact on the game like the NBA. That's it's a weird angle. And I'm trying to find out I'm trying to figure a proper way to kind of have a dialogue about that, to have some dialogue about that. But I don't know. I mean, they have a major impact on the game, but there's so many people in the field. There's pitchers, there's bullpens. I don't even know where to take this. I really don't. Unfortunately, I wish I could because there's an interesting angle, I'm sure, if I sat here and really dissected it. But off the top of my head, I need a little bit more time to take a proper angle on that one. Yeah, I got it. I understand what he's saying. Yeah, but that's any sport. There's a reason because one player in the NBA who plays 40 minutes in a playoff game when there's only 5 guys on the court at a time, it's a lot different. Hockey, there's line changes. Your top guys play 20-plus minutes a night, but your 4th liners, 3rd liners, 2nd liners still play a lot. You know what I mean? It's obvious. Brodes, my Braves suck. No fixing them either. Look, I feel your pain. The Phillies are the same exact thing right now. They suck. Although the difference is, I think the Braves healthy. You hit the refresh button. If you're the Braves franchise, next year begins, you hit the refresh button, you come back healthy, I don't think you're a disaster. If the Phillies come back next season, hit the refresh button, they stink. They absolutely stink. So I do think that this is more of just a write-off year for the Braves than it is a reality of the situation that they have no path. They have no identity. No, they do. And they're just fine. And they have prospects and they have like an actual franchise. And, they do know what they're doing. The Phillies don't know what they're doing. And that's the big difference. That's the huge difference. In my opinion, between the 4 major sports, what is the best playoffs to watch? I mean, I'm always going to have the personal tie to the Stanley Cup playoffs because I grew up with that sport. I love them all too much, though. It's whatever. I'm a prisoner of the moment. If it's the World Series and you ask me that question, I'm saying the World Series. If it's the Super Bowl at that time, I'm saying football. If it's the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm probably saying the Stanley Cup Finals. Unless LeBron James is in the finals and it's an epic series and it's one of those that's just eye-popping. This wasn't that. So if you ask me, Right now I'm not saying the NBA Finals just because of who was in it this year, but historically speaking, yeah. I mean, when I get LeBron, when I get Steph Curry, if I get Kevin Durant, I'm probably going to say the NBA Finals in that time. So I really am the prisoner of the moment. But I will say in sports, when it comes to lifting the trophy, I don't want to see the commissioner holding the trophy after what are you doing? The commissioner's trophy. What are we doing here? The players deserve it. I want to see the players pour out the emotions. Oh, here's another Larry O'Brien. Oh, what they do. What they do. The best piece of championship hardware is no doubt the Stanley Cup. No, Austin, that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Austin says, Brodes, the Phillies are only 4-game out in July. It's not too bad. No. They stink. They're under 500. They're under 500. If you go to not the Braves, if you go to the Blue Jays, they're 8.5 games back. I'd rather be them. I'd rather be the Blue Jays. They're 8.5 games back. I'd rather be the Blue Jays. You can't look at games back and think that tells you the full story on where this Phillies team is. No, it's bad. They're under 500. They're a bad baseball team. They lack fundamentals. They don't play with heart. They're a stupid team. They play stupid baseball. That's their identity. Dumb baseball. I mean, that's a failure. That's what it is, a failure. I don't care about the games back. They're only 4 games back because the Mets are failures, because the Mets stink. It's more of a product of the division than it is the actual team and the Phillies. It shows you how bad the Braves are. Saying the Phillies are only 4 games back tells you how underachieving the Braves have been, and it tells you the Mets are not very good. It doesn't tell you that the Phillies are good. Oh, it's not too bad. No, they stink. I'd rather be 8.5 games back and 4 games over 500 and be the Blue Jays than be where the Phillies are. That's where I'm at. Going back to hockey, the NHL early rounds are more interesting than NBA. Than NBA, yes, than MLB, I think is still valid to have that conversation because in Major League Baseball, you can easily win a series. You can win a series. Any team can win a series. And then, of course, the wild card game. But any team can win a series. So it's not, the 1 seed's going to smash the 8th seed. While the better team has a chance, obviously, a better chance of winning an NLDS, there's still something to be said about a good team losing an NLDS or an ALDS. Search says, Phils are killing me, Brodes, with a sad face. I know. They're killing us all. Last night was just defeating. It really is. It kills you inside to see this team knowing the sense of urgency that lacks. And it starts from the lineup. Not having JT in there. Going with Andrew Knapp. You just lost 2. Hey, let's throw a Knapp. Well, that sucked. And that was a big reason why you lost. Should have made the tag at the first inning, even though Odubel should have been better. At the end of the day, there was a throw made at the plate, and he should have applied the tag and gotten the run out. Instead, it was a 1-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves. That tag has to be made. Then there's a pitch in the dirt. Can't block the pitch. Gets ugly. Now there's a bunt in play. That was the 7th inning? Yeah, 7th inning. Didi triples, Odubel doubles for an RBI. Torreyes earns a walk, 4th time on base. But he was on base 4 times total, I should say. Knapp with the bunt, Miller with the K, Segura gets an RBI, Jankowski with just a disgusting at-bat, 3 pitches, just trying, I guess, to crush a home run on every single one of these pitches on these off-speed that's just dipping into the dirt. And then knowing Bryce Harper was up after him, that's the at-bat that you put together. It's just sickening. It really is. It's just absolutely sickening. Yeah, I love playoff baseball. There's something to me about October that just gives me the damn chills. I love playoff baseball. And unfortunately, I just don't know if I'm ever going to be in a spot where I'm going to see it again. That's the issue. I don't know if I'm ever going to see playoff baseball again. That's where the Phillies have left me. It's disturbing, just absolutely disturbing. Matt says, I don't expect to win when Matt Moore is pitching. Well, he won the last 4 games before last night. They won 4 straight games. And then you got Joe. I talk about lack of urgency again. And I know the bullpen was insanely depleted, and they pitched that bullpen game the night before, and they had to go super heavy after Spencer Howard, and it wasn't great. It was not ideal what they did and what they had to throw. But you're basically now in a spot where you're just like throwing Matt Moore out there to the wolves. Hey, keep on keeping on, Matt. Keep on keeping on, Matt. If I can make a trade, well, I don't know. See, now we're already questioning again what you do. Is it worth Marte? What I would do is I'm not going after the Chris Bryants. I don't know if I'm going out after the Martes or the Bruxtons or the Buxtons or anything like that. I lost my train of thought. Yes. I would do like the lower end type of deals where you just add to the bullpen. You try and do something unless you lose 10 in a row. I'm curious what um let's see here. What a Buxton deal would look like. I combined his name at one point. Byron Buxton. I went Bruxton on us. With Buxton, I'm curious what the type of deal would look like. I'm trying to see if there's some sort of like hypotheticals or trade possibility that would pop up with the level of tier that it would take. But I'm almost at the point where I would do something where it would be low risk and maybe even a low to medium reward. It would be more like that. You can't swing for the fences, man. You're not in the position to swing for the fences and try and grab a no-brainer player, try and grab a big-time player, a big-name player, a splashy player. I just don't see them in that situation. So I would probably go with more of a tier of low risk, low medium reward type of thing. That's really where I would go if I'm Dave Dombrowski, if I'm even buying. How quickly things have changed, but if I'm even buying. I don't think they're going to sell. I really don't. I've been screaming that they should be selling for how many months now, regardless of everything. But you knew that they weren't when they put themselves in that position before the All-Star break. You feel it's inevitable that they're going to buy. So even if they lose this series, I still think they're going to buy because they're, quote, close. And they're, quote, close, not because they're good, which is very flawed, and it's a fraudulent mindset, but because of where the division is, they're going to buy. I don't see them selling unless they lose 10 in a row, like Dave Dombrowski stated. I just do not see this Phillies team selling. I know, Ashley. I know what the right thing to do is. The right thing to do is exactly what you're stating. Ashley states, I wouldn't buy. I'm a seller and retool. Trust me. I've been saying this for years. Years. You got to blow this thing up and retool it. But they're not going to do this because this is what the Phillies do. Every year. Every damn year they keep you involved just enough. Just enough to tickle your nuts. Just enough to tickle your nuts. And then they just stop. I guess blue balls is the best way to explain it. That's what they do. The crazy thing is, I feel the Braves will win the East only because Freeman and our offense. Freeman and our offense. Oh, our offense. Why'd you spell it offense? That's incredible. And our offense and our bullpen will kill us in the playoffs. Yeah, the bullpen's going to be a disaster. I don't think they have it this year. I don't. Now, the Mets will Mets. The Mets will Mets. The Mets will Mets. But something just does not seem right with this Braves team. No matter what Freeman's doing, no matter who steps up for a decent amount of a stretch. When you assess how many games it's been so far, and I get it, baseball is a long season and it's a journey for a reason, and all it could take is 1 month to get yourself in at a time like this with where the Mets, the Phillies, and the Nationals are. I understand that, but at some point you've seen this team play for how long now, and to a degree, it's like this is who they are, right? Like this is who they are. So with that, why would you automatically expect change and then to kind of go over and become a different team? Oh, yeah, the Bryce Harper thing is, this franchise with Bryce Harper, there's so many problems that is not labeled Bryce Harper, right? If you had an organization that knew how to draft and develop, if you had an organization that, quite frankly, it would be that. That's it. If you had a franchise that knew how to draft and develop, the Bryce Harper signing isn't even a discussion because you would have guys moving up, moving on, being in this team, being in hold. They stink because their defense stinks. Alec Boehm stinks at defense. Didi stinks at defense. Odubel stinks at defense and is making boneheaded decisions. The manager's throwing Andrew Knapp in there in a big situation after you lose 2 straight games. Like those issues get fixed up. you don't talk about Bryce Harper in the contract because the other parts of the team make sense. Your starting pitching blows. Vince Velasquez, Matt Moore, your bullpen's a disaster. I mean, I'm naming you 6 things that matter, and then that Bryce Harper conversation doesn't show up. Bryce Harper, while he's been nicked up this year and he's been banged up, and I heard Tom McCarthy, if I heard this correctly last night, say that Bryce Harper thought he broke his foot. I mean, that's how brutal that pitch was that went off of his foot yesterday when he fouled it off in the foul territory. I mean, geez, could you imagine if we're going through something like that with Bryce? Luckily, it didn't, but that's how much pain he was in yesterday. He's nicked up, but yeah, I mean, the Bryce Harper's not the problem. I can name you 6 serious problems over Bryce Harper. You fix those serious problems, guess what? The 7th, where Bryce Harper is on the list, you're not even talking about. I don't even know, quite frankly, if Bryce Harper's 7th on the list. I'm just saying, there's plenty of other things. Matt says, literally 48 hours ago, I was sucked in, and now we are back to reality. I tried calming everybody down on the emotional ride after the All-Star break. I did get sucked back in a little more than I would have liked to after Miami, though. After the 3 of 4 against Miami, there was a bit of me that got roped right back into that territory that they always bring you to, and I knew it. I also knew it wasn't real, so I was conflicted where I was getting sucked in, but I realized it was all nonsense. And then, yeah, as you alluded to, reality kind of hit here, for sure. 97.5 hours this weekend, Brodes. I will tell you right now. It's been pretty consistent. Next weekend does change because there's some people on vacation, so I'm sliding in different slots. But this weekend is your standard. I will be on Saturday night, 7 to 10 p.m. And on Sunday, I will be on 4 to 8 p.m. I appreciate the support, Carmen, from Texas, man. When I see your name pop up on the phone lines there on the Fanatic, I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you reaching out, asking, and reaching out, calling in. So once again, it's 7 to 10 p.m. Saturday night, and then it's 4 to 8 p.m. on Sunday night, Sunday evening. So I started in March. So I've been on the Fanatic since March. April. Wait. Yeah. Yep. March. So March, April, May, June, and we're finishing up July. So basically almost 5 months. It's crazy how fast everything flies by. Basically 5 months now of being on the weekends. Crazy. Really is. It almost blows me away saying that. I haven't thought about it until someone just mentioned it. I haven't really thought about it. But damn. Yeah, it's crazy. I've known the Leafs have not been real since our current core became a core. Yeah, I actually believe in the Maple Leafs. I know it's painful. I know it's brutal. I know they had a chance to win a series finally, but I believe in Matthews, Marner, and I believe in development in sports and growth in sports. And what they're experiencing now is going to be huge for that cup run that they have as players. Now, maybe that's in Toronto. Maybe it's later on down the road. I don't know. You're right. I don't know in terms of that. But, I mean, these guys are young, raw, and talented. There's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of intense moments and a lot of suffering before you win a championship. It's just reality of the situation. I actually believe in the long term of the Maple Leafs with this core. I wouldn't blow it up. I wouldn't start trading guys. I wouldn't get rid of guys. Now, I do understand the cap space side of things with the Maple Leafs, spending X amount of dollars on Marner, giving him that contract, and where some of these players are with money. I get it. It's hard to build a complete roster, and you saw that with the decor and what they tried to do with their decor, even though I thought this year was significantly better than every other season. I still think that they can do it. I still do. Alex, love you from the West Coast, Brodes. Matt Moore gives me hemorrhoids. Oh, that's an amazing, amazing comment. That's an amazing comment. Oh, that's funny. We got a name? We got a name change? Or are people just having some fun with it? Let's see. Hold on. According to Baseball Reference, the Mets now have a better postseason odds than the Phillies. Mets are 30.4%. Phillies are 29.5%. They're the Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians. Is that for real? They changed their name yet? I don't see it. It's still the Cleveland Indians on Twitter. Did they even release the statement? They didn't even release anything about it. What's going on here? They didn't release anything about it yet. Oh, here's Jeff Passan. Oh, they did. They released a video. The Guardians. They kept the font the same, huh? Kind of just switched the word. Whatever. I'm not passionate about it, to be honest with you. I don't have too much passion on what they changed it to or whatever. So that's my you got my raw, instant, passionate reaction right there. Nice. They kept the same font. They kept the same style. There's that. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. That's all I got for you guys. Was it actually the same font? Or was it just like I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if it was the same font, but it was the same style of the name underlining, regardless. Anyway, thank you all so much for another phenomenal week of Coffee with Brodes. I will see you guys as I mentioned. I'm going to the game tonight, so I will have to do a podcast on the Phillies, and I also want to do a podcast on Shane Gostisbehere being traded. I have some. I'm trying to plan out some podcasts over the weekend. So we got Phillies, we got Flyers with the draft tonight. Ghost. We got a lot of things going on. Thank you guys. You're the best. See you guys on podcast form later on, and then on Coffee with Brodes Monday.